are in the springtime, and a lot of times you'll see Bermudagrass start to green up. And sometimes that's great for our turfgrass lawn, but other times not so great for maybe our landscape beds, sidewalks, or like here where we have some pavers out. And Bermudagrass is pretty interesting grass. It can actually grow above the ground, can reach out through stolons like we see right here, and it can reach down somewhere else and root down and form a new plant and just keep growing and growing and reaching out above the ground. It can also develop underground stems called rhizomes. And here we see an example of what Bermudagrass can do below the ground. And so these roots will develop, and then below the ground there'll be a stem develop, a rhizome, and then at a node there it will come up and form a new plant. And so this Bermudagrass plant can spread above the ground and below the ground. It makes it very difficult to control. It makes it great if we're trying to grow in a lawn, but very difficult to control in landscape beds, gardens, and sidewalks and pavers. So what can we do to control this problem? Well, there's lots of things we can do, and one of those things that we can do is just do some mechanical control, maybe using an edger or something like that. So you can take along the edge of your sidewalk or the edge of your bed or the edge of the pavers and run that steel edger and actually physically cut the stolons, and it will go down deep into the soil and physically cut the rhizomes as well. So that can help, but you'll notice probably after about 2 or 3 weeks it'll happen again. The Bermudagrass will start growing, it'll be active again, and you'll have to continue doing that edging time and time again throughout the whole growing season. Now another thing you can do is you can go with the chemical control. So like I have a couple of examples of chemicals here. One is glyphosate. You'll see trade names like Roundup, and there's lots of other names out there that you see in the store, but basically this glyphosate product can be mixed up, say just in a little 1-gallon hand sprayer. You just put in, depending on the formulation that you purchase, most of the times it'll be like a 41% glyphosate product, meaning the bottle contains actually 41% of the glyphosate. So in that case, you mix up 2 to 3 ounces per gallon of water, and then you would just come along the edge and spray that. You have to be very careful because whatever that product touches, it's going to die. So it can harm maybe this vine here too as well. So you'd have to be very careful, make sure it's not windy, and only spray where you want to actually kill active growing vegetation. There are other products like glufosinate, phenoxyprop, and also triclopyr can be used. Just have to make sure you buy the right product for the right purpose, read the label. Sometimes these products are not specifically for residential yards, sometimes they are. So just consult with your county extension educator and they'll help you figure out which product to use. Or if you want, just go with the old standard glyphosate and that will work quite well. So continuing talking about how to keep Bermudagrass out of your landscape beds, here's a really good example of how you can use an actual physical barrier for your landscape bed. So here there's just some steel edging you see right here, and that'll help keep the Bermudagrass away from your landscape bed. And also what's also very helpful is having a good 3-inch layer of a mulch in your landscape bed. And that really helps to keep all the weeds out, including Bermudagrass. And you can even see here where they've even sprayed a non-selective herbicide like a glyphosate to form an additional barrier to keep the grass farther away from the edge here. Other things that you'll see, like maybe if you have a new bed, is maybe some landscape fabric or some plastic that you can put down. And so, for instance, here in this bed, if we were going to plant as new, we could get the soil prepared, maybe put down a layer of this fabric or this plastic, and then put the mulch on top of that, and that just gives you an extra physical barrier to keep that Bermudagrass out of the bed. Now, none of these are perfect though. The Bermudagrass is very persistent and aggressive, and so this is something that you probably can't just use 1 or 2 or 3 of these techniques, but actually everything. You'd have to try everything to keep it out of your bed and off your sidewalks and things like that. The other thing to remember is if you put this fabric down and say you want to plant a new ornamental plant here, if you dig up the soil and get some soil on top of this landscape fabric, there's a chance that there could be some Bermudagrass rhizomes in there, and before you know it, you've got Bermudagrass all in your bed again. So you have to be very careful about soil sanitation and keeping things really clean, and try not to introduce Bermuda grass in there. If we wanted to till up the soil first, and there's already Bermuda grass here, again, remember about the rhizomes, and whenever you chop up the Bermuda grass, you're always spreading those rhizomes, and it's actually like spreading the grass throughout your whole landscape area. So if you're going to do that, it has to be really a deep tillage where you're burying those rhizomes deep down into the soil so they cannot emerge up through at the top. Do these things and you might have a good chance to keep Bermuda grass out of your landscape bed.